Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Teddy Creek, and it's about damn time that I give you guys my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Origins. Game came out in October. It's December. Without any further ado, let's get into it.
Hold up. This must be an imposter. Teddy Creek been dead for years. You telling me this man ain't dead no more? That's impossible.
Yeah, man, I ain't dead. I've just been chilling, doing my own thing. I'll tell you guys about that later. For now, let me do my thing. Let me talk about this game.
Nah, man, you ain't getting away that easy. You trying to tell us you're trying to put out an Assassin's Creed game, and it's been 2 whole years since you even talked about that franchise, and it's been 8 months since you've even posted a video, my guy. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Okay, man, get out of here. I get it. Stop trying to interrupt me and try not to ramble. Get your ass out of here. I'll tell you where I've been at later. I'm trying to talk about Origins real quick. So first, background on me. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises of all time in video games, period. And my channel actually used to be centered around Assassin's Creed multiplayer, but that is dead, finito, body bagged, 6 feet under, never to be seen again. RIP ACMP. So first, I'm going to talk about the story of Origins. The story takes place obviously in Egypt, and you are Bayek of Siwa, and you have a story of revenge on your hands. You're trying to get revenge for something that happened to you years in the past at the start of the rule of King Ptolemy. It sort of starts the creed and obviously the origins, hence the name of the game, sort of is the origins of the creed, but it doesn't really form the origins until pretty much the end of the game. And it instead just feels more like you're just going from person to person trying to kill solely on revenge, and that's it. Honestly, the story to me was a little forgettable, and when I think back on it, I'll probably only remember Origins. First thought that'll come to my mind is the end story, maybe the last hour or so of the story. Next, I'm going to go talk about the setting. Background again on me. Ancient Egypt is one of my favorite time periods of all time. Modern history, ancient history, doesn't matter. I love ancient Egypt. I just find the architecture, the way of life, the gods specifically, just all very fascinating. And the setting takes place in ancient Egypt during the rule of King Ptolemy the 13th. And upon my first playthrough, the towns were big, hustle and bustle. I was getting some small Revelations vibes, which is a good thing because I love the setting in Revelations. I felt like there was a lot going on. But upon my second playthrough, well, not second playthrough, but upon recording the footage you're seeing, I felt that the cities and the towns and everything were very empty. I don't know if it was because I was recording mostly with the UI off and the HUD off, but I just felt like there weren't people around. Maybe I was at the wrong time of day. I tried playing throughout a day and throughout a night. Maybe I was in the wrong town, wrong place, wrong time. It just felt empty to me. And that kind of leads me to what my biggest fear coming into this game for the setting was. And that's that Egypt is in the desert. It's got a lot of desert in Egypt. And my biggest fear came true because there's a lot of empty spaces in this map that I feel are very underutilized. And maybe, yeah, the terrain's really rocky and there's mountains. It's a big desert, but give me some more tombs and places to explore inside those empty spaces. Give me something. All in all, the setting just felt like something was off. I feel like the setting really shined when it tied into the story with the gods and having to do things in the day of Egypt. But outside of tying into the story, it just felt like I was in some foreign city that didn't really have a big matter in the game. Next, I'm going to talk about the characters. First two characters I'm going to talk about are Bayek and his wife Aya. First, you got Bayek, obviously the main character of the game and the newest addition to the Assassin's Creed universe. Bayek's pretty chill. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a good sense of right and wrong. Bayek is fueled, as I said earlier, by revenge, similar to Ezio. But Ezio, he becomes ingrained and infused with the creed. Bayek doesn't have that happen until basically near the end of the game, and he's just fueled by revenge this whole time. He doesn't really grow as a person until the end, unlike Ezio, which granted we had multiple games to deal with him, but he was forced into the Creed whether he liked it or not, and that kind of changed him as a person. Next, I'm going to talk about Aya, Bayek's wife. Similar to Bayek, she is fueled by revenge, but Aya, like Ezio, realizes she's part of something bigger, and she's got a greater sense of duty outside of revenge. Small nitpick I had about Bayek and Aya, I feel like they just need to... They lack in communication in what they need to do with their lives, and I feel like they could have at least added some little bits of story to flesh out their relationship, the problems in their relationship better. I feel like the compromises they came to were very lacking. Next three characters I'm going to talk about, I'm going to group them all in one, are Cleopatra, King Ptolemy, and Julius Caesar. I group them all together because I feel like they're incredibly meh, not very fleshed out. They're, in all intents and purposes, villains and good guys, I guess. Mostly Cleopatra being a good guy. King Ptolemy, pretty much pointless, serves no purpose other than breaking his statues, which I guess you can do for a fun side quest, I guess. Cleopatra, she's also kind of meh. And Julius Caesar, he's probably more interesting than... I feel he got shafted. He's could have been more interesting because he kind of is the founding piece that ties together the story of Bayek starting the Creed and how they get entwined with the Templars. I feel like they could have done more with that. But I don't want to spoil anything. That's it. Next, I'm going to talk about gameplay, and this is the bulk of the review, so I'm going to try to go decently quick, but not too fast. First, we got free running. Free running, basically the same. No problems here or there, no glitches, nothing crazy happened, just, the small usual. I meant to jump here, not jump into this pile of crocodiles and die. Next, we got the combat. This is probably the most interesting part about the game because people love this combat system. People praise it and how great it is. It's a great change. I 100% disagree. I think it's a great large step back from Syndicate, which in my opinion had the greatest combat of all the Assassin's Creed games. It's a very slow paced feeling, and I feel like it forces you to play defensive and thus have to use a shield, because without it you're going to take a lot of shots. And I feel it's sort of Dark Souls-esque, maybe a little Bloodborne here and there, just because you're dodging a lot and blocking a lot and playing defensive a lot. Now, I feel the fighting, yes, it's really good for small engagements, maybe up to 3-4 people, but not large fights at all. And I know that's not the point of Assassin's Creed. You don't want to be in large fights because you're trying to sneak around. But sometimes, you go into a tier 3 encampment, and they spot you and they light the brazier and the falakes come and you get bodied by like 10 people and you absolutely stand no chance. And no, I'm not saying I want to be a wrecking ball of death and just destroy everyone in Egypt, but I want to be not so defensive. It lacks the fluidity that I loved in Syndicate. Next, I will talk about side quests. Side quests were a very nice addition. I feel like they fleshed out Bayek's character very well, almost better than the story, because it's just him talking as a normal person in some cases to a person being beat up, he's trying to help, or a little friendly rivalry he's got going on with some random person. So I feel like they fleshed the story out really well. I didn't like how later in the game I feel I was forced to do side quests because I was too low level to progress in the story without getting absolutely bodied. Now, that's only a problem for me because I don't like doing side quests before I beat the main story. That's my number one thing I can't do in any game, really. I focus on main story first so it stays in my mind, so I'm like, what's happening next? What's happening next? So that's just a small nitpick. Two things real quickly. Senu, by X Eagle, nice addition, but I miss traditional Eagle vision, and I get it, it's the origins of Assassins, and that's how it was made. But I just miss being able to permanently see who is a bad guy and where they are at all times. They could have maybe made that a perk in the skill tree. And speaking of the skill tree, I feel like that was pretty meh too. It didn't really matter. There was no skill where I was like, I absolutely need that. It's going to change my gameplay forever, and I'll be upset if I don't get it. Doesn't really matter. Next, I'm going to talk about the modern day, and I was pleasantly surprised when I found there was an actual modern day story. If you don't know, I love modern day. It is in my mind, the actual story of Assassin's Creed as a franchise. But I feel like the modern day was not properly utilized and was only used as a stepping stone for future games. And I feel like it was a missed opportunity. Could have been better. It could have been worse too, but it was just forgettable is the word I will use. The last thing I'll talk about, very small nitpick I had with the game, is that I definitely noticed upon recording this footage is that you cannot replay any missions at all, which is very annoying when I'm trying to record the footage for this game and get a specific cut scene or anything like that. Can't do it. Not possible unless you want to start up a brand new file, which I did not want to do because that's too much time to just get some footage, which granted I probably could have done in the entire month. I didn't post anything for this game after it came out, but I digress. You get my point. So now I'm going to give you my conclusion about Origins, and I'm honestly not sure how to feel about this game. It was supposed to be my favorite setting of all time, but it wasn't. And that's kind of jarring for me. And I know what's really jarring for me is the fact that I know I said I don't do side quests before the main story, but in every Assassin's Creed game, I always, without fail, always get all of the viewpoints before I beat the main story. And I didn't. And that's a sign that I wasn't really enjoying the setting, which I thought I'd love. And that's just doesn't compute in my mind that I wouldn't do that. Don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed Origins is a good game. Standalone, it's a good game. People seem to love it. I just don't really have any specific emotions about this game. I don't feel like it doesn't do anything for me. Now, I will try to rank this game in my list. It's going to be a bit difficult. So my favorite game in the series, we got Brotherhood at number 1. Number 2, we got Black Flag. 3, we got Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Number 4, we got Assassin's Creed 2. Number 5, we got Revelations. 6, we got a tie between Assassin's Creed 1 and 3. 7th, we got Unity. And 8, we got Rogue. For Origins, I think I'm going to have to throw it right below Assassin's Creed 1 and 3, putting it at 7th on my list and above 8th place, which is Unity. AC1 and 3, there's things that I enjoy in both games, but there's things that obviously AC1's really old, so it's missing good things. AC3, I just didn't enjoy the story, but the modern day brings it up a whole lot to me. So I tie those. Origins is right below. Origins is missing things that both those games do better to me. And Unity, that game, it's definitely below. It's definitely below Origins. Origins is closer to AC1 and AC3 than it is to Unity. But that's about it for my ranking, guys. That's it for the review and my thoughts on the game itself. Let me know what you guys thought if you played the game. Give me a note in the comments. Let me know what you thought. As always, guys, I'm Teddy Creek. I'm out. Peace.